Hey, what is up guys? Welcome to another video. In this video I'll be talking about the grade boundaries for the mathematics GCSE exams in 2018, and I'll have a look at the exam dates as well. So 2017 was the first year of the new specification, so everyone was a little bit unsure last year of where the grade boundaries would be set. So this year we're a little bit more comfortable with the new grading system, the 9-to-1 grading system, and we can look at the grade boundaries from last year. So we can kind of have a better idea of where the grade boundaries will be this year. Before I go into the grade boundaries from last year, I want to have a look at the results from last year. So in this infographic, we can see the results from last year in 2017, and it has all of the results here, and I'm interested in these results in blue. These are the reformed GCSEs, in other words the new specification 9-to-1 GCSEs. And there were three subjects in these new reformed GCSEs. There was GCSE Maths, GCSE English Language, and GCSE English Literature. And I'm interested in the mathematics, so I'm going to zoom in on this part of the infographic here. And it compares the results from 2016 and the results from 2017. You can see here that 528,000 students sat the exams in 2016. And 96.9% achieved a G or higher, 71.4% achieved a C or higher, and 20% achieved an A. So in 2017 they were aiming to keep these percentages about the same, and that's what they did. So once the results came in, they could set these grade boundaries. So they had about 98% of students getting a 1 or more, 70% of students getting a 4 or more, and 20% getting a 7 or more. So the grade 4 in the new grade system is a pass, the same as the C in the old system. So if you're aiming for a pass, you need a grade 4 or higher. And if you want an A, you need a grade 7 or more. The idea behind this new grading system is to have more grades above a pass. So in the old system, we only really had an A, a B, or a C above a pass, and now we have a grade 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So there's a lot more grades above a pass to differentiate the different levels of difficulty of the exams. And you can see the grade 9, only 3.5% of students achieved that grade 9. So they're comfortable with the idea of the same level of students passing the exams, but they want to have a way to differentiate the difficulty at the grade 8 and 9 level. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a good idea of the new grading system and what they're aiming to do. Let's have a look at the grade combinations from 2017. So there was only 2,000 students getting 3 grade 9s. That shows how difficult it is to get grade 9s in this new specification. Only about 12,000 students getting grade 8s, and then 3 grade 7s, about 38,000 students. So that's equivalent to 3 grade A's really. Okay, so hopefully that gives you an idea of the new grading system. Let's have a look at the grade boundaries now from June 2017. So these are the Edexcel exams only. Okay, so if we go down to the marks here, we can see the foundation grade boundaries and the higher grade boundaries. So both sets of exams were out of 240. There's 3 papers, each paper out of 80 marks, and they add all of the marks up to figure out what grade you will get. And in the foundation papers, you needed 158 out of 240 to get a grade 5, 122 to get a grade 4, that's about 50% of the marks. Grade 3 was 90 marks, grade 2 is 58 marks, and grade 1 was 26 marks. Then in the higher papers, the lowest grade you could get was a 3. To get that grade 3 you needed 27 marks, 41 for a grade 4, so you need 41 marks to get a pass in the higher tier. And the exam boards came under a bit of criticism for this. People saw it as too low for a pass, and you can see one article here. So exam boards defend maths paper where 18% equals a pass, and that talks about the criticism and why it was the case. Generally, in the higher tier, there's only about 20% of the questions aimed at grades 4 and 5. Most of the questions are aimed at grades 7 to 9. So if you're aiming to do the higher tiers to get an easier pass, it's not really the case. It's going to be very difficult if you've studied foundation level topics and you move into higher tiers to get an easy pass. It's not really going to happen because most of those questions are aimed at grades 7 to 9. If you know mathematics is one of your weaker topics and you just need a pass, you'll be much more likely to pass if you sit the foundation papers. If you're aiming, the higher tier papers are for students aiming for the grade 7 or higher. In the higher papers, you need 68 for grade 5, 96 for grade 6, 124 for grade 7, 157 for grade 8, and 190 for grade 9. We can also look at the grade boundaries from November. So these are the November 2017 grade boundaries. And they're pretty similar to the June 2017 grade boundaries. So here the foundation boundaries are 145 for grade 5, 113 for grade 4, 83 for grade 3, 53 for grade 2, and 23 for grade 1. Compare those to June. You can see that they're fairly similar. And then the higher tier grade boundaries, 19, 32, 58, 85, 112, 150, and 189. Again, pretty similar to the June grade boundaries. Now, you can see that the ones around grades 4 and 5 shift the most. So here it's in November it was 32 and in June it was 41. That's because generally that's where the most change happens. So if the exam papers are harder or more difficult, there's more students either likely to pass or less passing in that set of grades than at the top level of grades. So you can see the grade 9 didn't shift really at all, 189 compared to 190. That probably won't change much this year, but there might be a shift around the grades 4 to 5 to 6 if the papers are more accessible, because there'll be more students achieving a pass and therefore the grade boundaries will shift upwards. But there you go, there are the grade boundaries from last year. We know generally what to expect this year. They'll be fairly similar. However, the Ofqual, the government agency that monitors exam boards, has put out a blog in January, and this is talking about the grade boundaries in 2018. And they put out this statement about GCSE subjects first awarded in 2017. So it says, for GCSE English Language and Maths, summer 2018 will be the third set of papers and the third awards, although only the second award for GCSE English Literature. Schools will have seen where grade boundaries were set in June and November 2017. Nevertheless, we would still urge caution in assuming that the boundaries in 2018 will be very similar to those set in 2017. The 2018 papers could turn out to be slightly more difficult or more accessible than those in 2017, and the grade boundaries will reflect those differences. So, if you're using the 2017 boundaries as a guide, our advice would be to assume the potential for movement up and down, and therefore not to rely on the 2017 boundaries as an absolute indication of where the 2018 boundaries will be set. So this is saying that they'll be around the same kind of grade boundaries, but they might shift up or down depending on the difficulty of the exams. So we have a pretty good idea of where they'll be. As I said before, I think the top level grades won't shift as much as these grades 4, 5, and 6. They might shift a little bit upwards, I would say, considering that the students this year have seen the exams from last year. We know what to expect a little bit more, we're a little bit more prepared, and the exam papers may be a little bit easier. We're not sure. Also, we don't know where the grade boundaries will be until the results come in, because obviously they're set when they're comparing you to everybody else. If everybody else gets 50 marks out of a 240, then that will be the passing grade, so that's how they set them. They set them as percentages comparing you to everybody else. But I'd expect them not to change too significantly from these ones. However, if you're aiming for a pass, look at the grade boundaries from 2017 and then aim a little bit higher, just to guarantee that you'll get that grade. So if you're aiming for a grade 4, maybe aim for 50 or 60 marks in the higher tier, maybe aim for 130 or 140 marks in the foundation tier, just to guarantee yourself that you'll get that grade. Okay, that's about all I want to say about grade boundaries. Let's have a look at the exam dates now. So here is the Edexcel examination timetable for 2018. If we go down to mathematics, let's go to M for mathematics. You can see all of the dates for the mathematics exams. The foundation and the higher tier exams are on the same dates. So paper 1, the non-calculated paper, is on the 24th of May, 9 AM. The paper 2 is on the 7th of June 2018, and paper 3 is on the 12th of June. They're all in the morning at 9 AM. They're all 1 hour and 30-minute exams, so you can mark those in your calendar if you have not already. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's all I want to say about grade boundaries and exam dates. I hope that's been helpful. If there's anything I missed, if you have any questions for me, leave them in the comments below. If you have something to add that I didn't put into this video, leave them in the comments. And I hope you found this useful. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe if you want to see more content, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.